Hi, I'm Ellie from crystallinks.com. Today is Thursday, June 6th, 2019. Today celebrates the 75th anniversary of D-Day in Europe. The Normandy landings initiating the Western Allied effort to liberate mainland Europe from Hitler and his Nazi regime. It's what turned everything around, or you and I would not be doing what we're doing today and living the lives we are. There were many celebrations actually over the past few days, some of which were televised and others more private. I chose to do a video today because when it comes to World War II Germany, I have my own connection to that. It may seem a little metaphysical or a little extreme, but I made some notes this morning and decided I would do a video blog, and then I wound up just writing, so I may quote from a few of them. So let me start from the beginning. My first consciousness memory as a newborn, I mean literally coming into this world as Ellie Crystal, was this whooshing sound through a tunnel. Now, you may say this is the birth canal or whatever, but this is a consciousness thing. This is something where I was actually processing in a language. And I remember working in the Nazi underground labs on time travel experiment, and somebody must have did something. I basically think I was just trying to escape. This was 1 year before Normandy. Okay, this was February 17th, 1943, and somehow I got involved in time travel experiment, and I wound up in the body of Ellie Crystal from Brooklyn. I know that sounds far-fetched and it sounds silly, but this is what I remember, and that's a very odd thing for a child to remember. I know a lot of people remember past lives, and I do remember that lifetime. Not only do I remember it, but I have met people throughout my journey here who have very similar memories to mine. They remember the time travel experiments, they remember being in Germany, they remember all of what we went through. One of the people who came for reading in recent years is a woman who started telling me about her mother, who played at a cabaret. She was a red-headed woman, and so on and so forth, okay? That woman's name is also Eleanor. She's a little bit older than I am. Now, when I have done past life regressions or other, times that I've looked into who I was as a physicist there, I have seen myself married, either divorced or cheating. Hey, what are you going to do? And I had a woman friend who was a redheaded woman who played in a cabaret. I had memories of her. I had notes on her. I had written them down. Then along comes this woman, Eleanor, who was older than me, who came into my life and started telling me the story of her life and how her mother was involved with a Jewish physicist in Germany, got pregnant, had her, and was ostracized from the family, so some cousins or somebody else raised her. She eventually found her way here, and as things would have it, she came into my life. Our stories were the same, our sketches and drawings, and I even remember that when her mother and I broke off, she wrote me letters. This woman had those letters, so there is definitely a profound connection between me and Germany and the scientists, and we're talking the Einsteins and the Teslas and the time travels and all of those things, and of course aliens, because there was an alien connection to all of that. So through the years, I have come to say, okay, fine, something happened in Germany the way I see it. I'm through a portal. Now I'm 11 years old. It's 1954. For some reason that still to this day does not have proper explanation, my mother takes me to the Nevada desert. This is the northern part of Nevada by Pyramid Lake, not by Area 51. but who knows where those crafts were taken and what was going on there. She took me there, and we had a very unique experience where I don't like to use the word abduction because that has a sexual connotation, or poking and prodding and just doing not too nice things to humans. It wasn't that. It was more of maybe I should call it a contact experience, but I did go on a UFO, and I remember it as clear as yesterday. It was circular, and I was told about a destiny that would come to me in this lifetime, which has unfolded. I was told about past life, and also I was told that there was something that will connect me back at some point, full circle, back to the Germany time travel experiments. That's always puzzled me. Like, is a door going to open here? Is something going to happen that I'm just going to go through and all of a sudden I'll find myself back there? I don't know. It hasn't happened yet, but as time is moving along and I am getting older, it's got to come around very, very soon. So now here we are. It's Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn my whole life. It's July of 2018, and I went to the big MUFON conference in Las Vegas. Very much, I've always been into the UFO world as an investigator, a researcher, or you want to call me an experiencer, a contactee, whatever. And I've also often found, the stories I heard, all different than mine, but something connects somewhere. Okay, so in July, when I came back from MUFON, I connected through ARE, Edgar Cayce Society, with a woman in Rhode Island named Cheryl, who went by Deja Allison. She said to me, let's do something called remote viewing. I didn't know what it meant, but I said, sure, I'll try, because her and I had a very strong bond. Actually, Deja and other people who would come through my life, even to this day, had the same memories of the Nazi labs, the parties, the galas where Hitler was. We all had the same interconnected memories, either from the same grid or from something else. But what happened was Deja and I started talking, and she said, let's do remote viewing. And I said, okay, show me how. And she said, all you have to do is just let your consciousness go. It's taking your consciousness and knowing you're still here in physical Ellie, but also taking it somewhere else. Sometimes you deliberately find a location that you want to go to. You can read up on remote viewing. Other times you just let it happen. So there went Deja and I, and where did we wind up? Because she was also from Germany. She was actually my brother there. We wound up in Antarctica, of all places. Zip, boom, there I was in Antarctica with Deja, underground, UFOs everywhere, but they were not exactly new or functioning. I didn't see entities. It kind of looked like a junkyard or a graveyard for outdated, outmoded, antiquated UFOs. They were kind of like piled one on top of the other, and we just kind of looked at all of that. We both knew we had alien connection. She had actually seen an alien, a gray, looking through her window. She had told me that. We knew we were connected. So now there we are under Antarctica, of all places. We didn't know where we were going to go, but we went there and we just started traveling. And recently, I think it was last Friday, Ancient Alien TV show had a episode called Return to Antarctica. And of course, this has been done before. They are trying to show, as we get closer to full disclosure, they're trying to show that there are alien bases under Antarctica. They believe that aliens come and go. Deja and I returned over the years. We returned to Germany, and then our skills got better, because if we went to Germany, sometimes we became a group of 12. It just happened to work out that way. And when we did a remote view simultaneously, we can not only in our minds see what was happening in Germany and in Antarctica, but we could also see and hear the sounds and the noises, and it was just the most amazing thing to all of us. You know, these are not people, by the way, there's some men, some women, these are not people who drink, drug, or are mentally unstable. These are just people whose, shall we call them psychic abilities or innate DNA abilities allow them to do remote viewing. So we went on and we explored Antarctica on several occasions, and it is kind of like a tunnel system under there. I do not, honestly, I do not remember seeing any entities there. They may have been there, I don't know. But there was very unique sounds. There were corridors and corridors that were lit. Everything was lit. It's almost like when you go to one of those places that as you walk through it, I think they're like storage units. As you walk through it, the lights go on, go on, go on. And then when you pass through, the lights go off. These lights were on the wall. Some were white, some were blue, some were green. That's the only colors I remember. And they had symbols that neither one of us in all of our research understood, but you know, that was okay. And we would just go and we would just see whatever was down there. Now that we actually saw current activities of aliens and craft, I have to say no. And I'm going back to 1989 and through the years since then. Deja has since passed. But there was something there that we realized tied the experience in Germany, because that was powerful, and Hitler, well, you know, Hitler wanted to create an Aryan race, which was evolved beings, and so he was into all kinds of alien and esoteric discoveries and using these discoveries to empower, to create UFOs. He knew a lot more. He was programmed to know a lot more than he led on, which is almost something that I feel in an odd way, though not comparing the two men, is something that Trump is going to bring. Trump is going to find out a lot about what goes on in the behind the scenes, behind the conspiracies, behind everything about aliens and UFOs. I don't know what he's been told. I don't know what he's been told you cannot tell people because they're not supposed to know. I don't know any of that. Okay? It's hard to know with Trump. But Hitler knew. Hitler knew a lot. There are the archives under the Vatican. There are all kinds of evidence, and he was looking for this evidence because he wanted to build a white Aryan race allegedly linked to mythological Atlantis. That could be real. That to me is still a myth. But anyway, Deja and I would go down there and we just explored, and something about World War II Germany has always stayed with me. It's like I can't explain it. It's part of me, and I have felt since I was a child, and children don't have these thoughts, but of course I was taken too, but even before that, I've always felt that it's like there's a portal or something from Germany, from those time travel experiments, that one day is just going to bring me back there full circle, and that's the day this hologram, this simulation, shall we call it, ends and it fades to black. I know that it's all a bit of a stretch if you're not familiar with simulation theory, or you're not familiar with any of this, or you've never done a remote view, so you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But I have to tell you that through the years in metaphysics and before metaphysics, and I don't do too much research now, I don't feel a need, but through all of this, there is always people who come into my life and say, I knew you in Germany. I knew you here. I knew you there. I knew you off planet. I have the pictures of me morphing into a reptilian. I have all kinds of alien connections. And like everybody else, I'm waiting for dissemination of information, or I'm just waiting for more ships and more sightings and more this and more that. And they go into Antarctica and they're here and they're there, and all the experiments, the other experiments the Germans did, and did they do the bell, and is the bell something that is a time travel apparatus? I don't have anything to do with any of that. I really don't, but other people do, and other people have their memories and what they take away from them. But when it comes to Hitler, okay, I wrote this, Hitler and Trump. Hitler was a crazy person who brought humanity to a low point or frequency as he was programmed to do. This was his programming. This was it, okay? Many people I speak to are scared that that Trump will start another war as he speaks without thinking and antagonizes our allies. I mean, he was there in Europe for a very, very special occasion, and he was not, let's just say he was not acting respectfully, and we'll just leave it at that, okay? So we've got two crazy people here, programmed to be so, okay? I really don't see that Trump is going to take us to war. I don't feel it. I just don't see another war. I know people are worried that North Korea is going to bomb us. I don't think so. Who knows what Trump is going to do? You can either enmesh yourself in the conspiracies, the lies, the rhetoric, or for me, I just step back. I don't know why. I just step back. I know that the answers are probably out there, the answers that are physical and physical reality. But other answers could be hidden under the Vatican. They could be hidden anywhere. They're all done by codes. When it comes to Trump, we know his psychological profile. If you speak nicely of him, he's your bestie, okay? If you criticize him, you know his reaction to that. When I woke up this morning and I turned on the TV, he was standing next to Melania, Macron, and Macron's wife, and they were just looking out at the sea, and everybody was just staring out, but Trump has a very low attention span, so he would be looking straight out, and then he'd look to his left, and then he'd look to his right, like, how much longer do I have to stand here and do this? His focus is limited. His ability to tell the truth in most instances is limited. I know that some of you who like him are going to say, well, he's done things for the country. I'm not even talking about that. People are scared of the fact that this is an unstable person who is doing everything he can to mess things up for the people of the United States. And for most, especially if you have some emotional problems or you fear what could happen, you look at all the other things like, when is the other shoe going to drop? If that's who you are, then Trump is a scary, really scary president. The way things are going now, if the Democrats don't get themselves in order and find themselves one candidate they can all unite behind on policy, Trump could come in again. The only thing that would stop him is impeachment hearings. And it's interesting that Nancy Pelosi doesn't think so, but that's all politics, okay? And I really, really don't like politics because it's just all conspiracy theories, and that's nothing that I really embrace or am part of. I'm just not here for that. Today being 6/6, well, actually, no, D-Day is 6/6/44. That's a code. And that code, when you add 6 plus 4, 6 plus 4, is 1010. And 1010 is binary code, and it takes us to binary code, and our reality is created by Fibonacci, and the brain works with binary code. It's all connected. It's all connected through numbers, math, the universal language. Play it however you want to play it, live it the way you have to live it. It's all about how you're programmed. But on this very special day, the world honors and reflects on what happened in Normandy that day, what could have happened if that did not occur and we did not send in allied forces, to get rid of and overthrow Trump and his regime. And to me, it's a story. It's a story. Everything is a story. It has a pattern. It follows. When you write a screenplay, it follows an algorithm. Everything in life follows an algorithm. World War II followed an algorithm. In this reality that you and I live in, and hopefully it's the same one, but in this reality, the algorithm played out the way it was supposed to. Okay, it's like any other dictator from way back when who came across and swept across the continents and took control of the land and the people and whatever. And then what happens? He gets defeated. It's always pretty much a man, but he gets defeated to move on to the next experience. And they all follow the same algorithm. But the difference is now, I truly believe, with everything that I have done in metaphysics through the years and everything that's been shown and reshown and told to me, I really believe that this is the end, not of Earth, not of this little subroutine in the simulation. It is actually the end of the whole dynamic and the whole experience. That it will take me back to Germany through a portal. I don't know. I really don't know. There's so many unanswered questions, but every day that passes, I feel that I'm getting closer and closer to the final moment. When 6644 and code 1010, and I know you can take 1010 1010 and make it 1111, which is a favorite code for most people. You can tweak those numbers however you want, but it's all coming down to the end. It's all coming down to closure. Feel it in your heart. If you don't, then you don't. Then just continue on. But take a minute to look for the souls who, a lot of influx of these souls who have come back, surprisingly, from Germany, who were there at that time. I don't mean the souls who are still alive, and some of them are in their 90s and they're like really very nice. They're showing the men mostly. They're very, very nice people. One jumped out of a plane. He's 93 yesterday. And they all have their stories. Everyone has a story. You and I and everybody else has their story. Little by little, in these little video blogs, I tell my story as I see it, but it's not just the way I see it. When I talk about it, it's the way I see it, maybe not having told anyone, and then it's the way people talk about it back to me and say, you were here, you were there, you were an alien, you were in World War II. I see you working with time travel. You know how to do this. You've been here. And it's different people who don't know each other, not the same people, not the 12 people I worked with, and most of them in the past. It's different. It's just different people from different walks of life who will suddenly just come into my life and tell me things that I knew, but confirm. So today, on this day in France, where the TV show that it was a beautiful sunny day, weather was good. We have today's leaders, today's rulers trying to do the best they can to cope with the guy who is driving the world crazy today, and that's Trump. He is who he is. He's not going to change. He's always going to be this guy, and he's always going to be a diversion as to what should happen. Think whatever you want about him. Don't drive yourself crazy. If you're a worried person and you say, oh my God, not another 4 more years of Trump after 2020. 2020, that code also is going to be big and it's going to be important. I personally do not see Trump impeached. I wish I did. I don't know why I don't. And if it doesn't happen, he will win again. I don't know why. Maybe there's some connection, but it's all connected somehow. It goes from, for me, it goes from Germany and probably into other timelines to Germany, to here, to other places in different realities in different parts of the grids. And now we come to today and we see what happens as we move forward. And I just say whatever's going to be. That's my philosophy. Thank you.